Hey there, Starseeds! Welcome to Beyond the Cosmic Table. We're a group of friends from different cultures, backgrounds, and beliefs. We gather around our table and initiate honest and open conversations on how energy and frequencies influence what we create around us. By expanding awareness, we're able to journey with practical guidance leading to our highest awareness and conscious living. So, take a seat and join us at our table. You may have heard the saying before that our reality is a reflection of what is going on inside of us. In this episode, Dianne starts the conversation with an experience she had that helps shed light on her understanding of what this really means. Rose, Susan, and I also share where we learn to shift our focus and let go and trust that there are lessons to be learned in these experiences. What is reflected back to us is an opportunity to transmute the energy of our thoughts and beliefs to create our optimal reality.
Good evening, ladies. I recently had an experience, believe it or not, and I want to kind of get different experiences from you guys that you've had with this to see how it's been for you. So we all know, and we've been told in many of our classes or our conversations that the world around us is a mirror of what's inside of us. But how does that really, you say that to some other people, and like when I first heard that phrase, I was like, what does that mean? The world around me is a mirror of what's inside of me. I know a couple of times we've talked about how emotions play out. What about like situations and other people, things like that? So the situation that just happened for me, and it's really quick, at work, they're trying to, of course, people try to control you. They're trying to control your thoughts. They're trying to control your behaviors in the workplace. And normally, I'm a pretty easygoing person and I kind of go with the flow, but recently we've been asked, of course, to go back to the office. And I'd been told that we would not be going back and we'd have a work from home option and all this kind of stuff. So I feel I was really fighting this. I was just like, put up my fists, and I was ready to duke this one out. Cause I'm just like, I don't want to go back to the office. I enjoy working from home. I'm so much more productive when I'm here. And it was really just starting to bother me. So this weekend, we're talking with Michael, and I said, I'm like, what is it about this whole control thing that's bothering me? And it was like a slap in the face. I'm trying to control my life right now because of like my work situation. We all know that I would like to no longer be there at my day job. And I also would like to control the situation by knowing that I would like to work from home full time. So I literally just wipe my hands of it. I'm like, I'm going to trust the universe. If I'm meant to go back, I will. And if it's meant for me to work at home, like part-time and go in, part-time, then that'll work out too. So have you ladies seen this in your lives and play out so vividly? Sometimes it takes a while for us to figure this stuff out, and other times it comes pretty quickly. So
are you going, what is the status as of today? Are you going back into the office part-time, full-time? What's going on?
Well, as of right now, we're still work from home. We're being encouraged to go back after the 4th of July. And then they're coming up with a hybrid model that they haven't even told us about. But then after Labor Day is when they'll be encouraging us to go back. So as of right now, everything is still up in the air. And that's why I couldn't figure out, like, why was I so, up in arms about it, about the control part of it.
So do you feel like the resolution of this is going to help you make your decision about going into your metaphysical business 100%?
Well, as of right now, the thing, like I said, I just completely washed my hands of being concerned about it. I'm like, I'm not going to try to control the situation. And as soon as I did that, I felt a huge weight lift off my shoulders, if you will. Because I was just like, I know that the universe has my back. I've not done all of this energetic work. If I'm meant to be there for a while longer, that just means there perhaps are more lessons for me to learn.
Yeah. And that's the same exact thing I've had to do, is let go of the control of the situation.
Right.
Yeah. Let go of the control and just trust, like you said, that everything is going to work out. You'll be at your job as long as you're supposed to be at your job, right? Because I feel the same way about mine and what's happening at my job right now.
Oh, okay. So you have a similar situation.
Very similar. I know that within the year, I'll be at a new job once I'm at my new house. So it feels to me, and the messages I'm getting is new house, then new job, right? But I feel like I started wanting to control that a lot more. And with, new home and new job and trying to control both of those, it was just like my guides were basically telling me to like knock it off. Like it's gonna happen what it's gonna happen. Stop asking for these messages and stop asking for the signs. Like you're gonna get your signs, but the more you ask for your signs, the more almost annoying, right? It would get. And so they're like, knock it off. Just trust that it's going to happen when it's supposed to happen.
So I think it's natural for everyone to want to control a situation. I think the not knowing is the hardest part of things, not knowing how things are going to work out or how things are going to go. And we like to plan ahead and we like to know what's going to happen. So as much as we can, we like to control our way in figuring it out. And I know that for myself, there was a possibility that I was going to get let go from my job more recently. And I was leaning towards wanting that. I thought that that would be the best scenario for me. And it was looking like it was heading that way. And then it ended up not going that way. And I was disappointed briefly, but then I realized like, well, it's not the timing right now for me. And I just have to trust that I'm going to stay here. And this is what's supposed to happen for me right now. And once I surrendered to that trust and that, I felt a lot better. I think when we have our expectations on how things will be best for us and then it doesn't go that way, we get disappointed. And but yeah, back to what Rose said is the whole like just trusting how things are going to go. But I want to ask you, Dianne, in terms of like everything's a mirror, like how does that go back to the whole controlling what happens with your job in terms of going back to the office or not?
Well, the way I was viewing the situation is I was viewing that they were trying to control me.
Ah, okay. Gotcha.
Yeah. And like I said, it's a mirror. I was trying to like control the situation saying, well, I'm not going to go back and I'm going to fight this and I'm going to be upset about it. And then like Rose said, as soon as you kind of like say, I trust the universe, everything's going to be fine. My anxiety level went away and I'm like perfectly fine with it. I go to my days and I'm like, these rules are probably going to change 3 or 4 times before September, because who knows what's going to happen with the world between now and then, and who knows what's going to happen with me. So that was the connecting point there.
I can definitely see how things are a mirror for me too. And that was a difficult one for me to see in the beginning too. When I heard that, like, oh, everything's a mirror, everyone's a mirror back at you and what's inside of you. But the more I go down this path, the more that resonates with me. My puppy's barking. I think he wants to go out. Continue on with conversation. I have to take him out and go potty.
Susan, have you seen or experienced anything similar to this?
More of a larger scale. What I was thinking about as far as a mirror is I'll have these conversations a lot of times with my dad, and he will talk about, all these awful things that are happening in the world. It's just like, oh, there's this person's trying to, screw us over, and this person's trying to, take over, and you can understand kind of the news that he listens to, but that's what he sees, and he sees that all over the place. And I'll talk to him and I'm just like, I didn't know about that. Like, that's not what I see. I was like, did you know that they had a medical breakthrough with replacing eyeballs? Did you know that there was this new technology that was created? Did you know that they're actually creating space stations on different planets? And it's just like, that's the world that I see, is the progress and the innovation. And, that's, of course, obviously the news that I pay attention to, because that's what excites me. And so that's definitely an indicator of the mirror when I have conversations with him, in just how we see so differently what the world looks like, even though we're technically living in the same world. Sometimes it doesn't seem like it at all.
That is fascinating, like you said, to look at the big picture on that. And it really makes you see, like you said, just everyone's perception and the experiences that they have brought to the plate, or what they've had so far in their lives. is such a reflection on how they see things now.
Yeah, it is fascinating. And to piggyback on to what you were saying, that the world is just a mirror of your own reality, right? And the reality that you are creating, and how that at times, when you are so into a specific reality, like I know somebody who had a medical procedure today, and this path could have gone several different ways. So it was an exploratory procedure that could have ended up where that's all it was an exploratory procedure. Or if we find something, we'll put a stent in the artery. And of course, this person was adamant that, well, I know they're going to find something and put a stent in the artery. And guess what happened, guys? They found something and put a stent in the artery. So, I think, like, in some degrees, we even physically manifest that reflection that we see in the mirror. You know what I mean? And we are physically manifesting the reality that the only reality that we can grasp at the time.
Even when we know better too, right? We know better. We know that not to look for things that we don't want to see and to focus on what we do want to see. And like you were talking about, Diane, you still even catch yourself. And I had an experience just today, and well, it was the culmination. We had a meeting a few days ago with a vendor, and it wasn't going the way I wanted it to go. It was very contentious, and I had to do notes to the meeting, and I was feeling very salty towards them because I didn't like their answers. And so I sent out communications and just, letting everybody know what was going on. And then the email I got back was really salty. I was like, okay, so maybe I need to change my attitude towards them so that I don't keep getting, this type of reaction back. And I had to check myself and take stock and, see how I was viewing the situation.
After doing that now, do you kind of see things from a different perspective now that you've kind of stepped back and kind of looked at it from maybe a bigger picture?
Yeah. And I ended up, because this whole situation had been escalated, I ended up going to the leaders and just saying, let's make sure that we focus on building this relationship so that we can have a positive way forward. Because focusing on the issues or what didn't go well is not going to help us. We can dig into the details and we might get down to the bottom of one little thing, but it's not going to help us move forward in a positive way. And so I sent that message up to make sure that at least for our side, that maybe once we can come to the table with them, we can mirror that and actually have more cooperation coming back to us.
Sounds like a productive result.
So what is helping you right now, Dianne, refocus and reset to where you do trust in the outcome of what's going to happen is going to be best for you?
Well, for me at this point, it is just a matter of, like I said, I kind of wash my hands of it. Having had this happen to me so many times, when I actually realize that it's me either controlling the situation or it was me that had a problem with something inside of me, once I realize it, I'm honestly okay with it. Today at work, I had like the absolute best day because I wasn't worried about the emails coming through about what's going to happen. And when we were on another call and some of the other girls were, concerned about it, I'm like, what's going to happen is going to happen and it's going to unfold. Like I said, I trust the universe for it to be aligned with my highest path and purpose. If there's more lessons to come, there's more lessons to come.
And do you find too that when you do let go and trust, that you read things differently? Emails come through and you read it in a different tone. The message comes across completely different because you're in the flow of surrender and trust, and where, before it was more of a control thing. So you might read it in a completely different tone or take a message out of context, or I don't know, like, I just find that when I am in a good vibration and I read something, I read it completely different than if I'm in a low vibration. It could come
Yeah.
across, the same message can come across completely different. It's all a matter of like
Absolutely.
where I'm at.
Yeah. And this morning too, I'm going through some things at work. There is village manager changes and things like that. But anyways, like I knew today was going to be a very task filled day just due to, certain people not being there and things that needed to get done today. And I woke up knowing that. So I started my day. I woke up and I started my day and just reiterated to myself to let all the negativity no longer attached to the negativity that no longer serves me. I ensured that I just filled myself up with positivity and love and light, and just imagined like the sun beaming all of its rays on me today. Forget all y'all. But everything was on me, all the sun rays on me. And I felt like, what probably could have been a very disastrous day today turned out to be a pretty, it was a busy day, but it was a good busy day. So it's like I prepared myself extra for this day today.
That's awesome. And that goes back to the whole, where your focus goes, energy flows. And so when we focus on the negative, we seem to see more negative. And you woke up today and decided that you weren't going to go that way and you were going to focus on the positive. And it's not like that woo-woo, like, oh, positive thoughts. It's truly like where you were putting your energy. And so that brought you positive experiences versus what could have been negative if you were focused on the negative.
Yeah, absolutely.
I don't know, all the sun rays on her, it's a little woo-woo.
Well, yeah. I mean, but I don't know. I'm in Arizona and the sun was still shining on me. So a little too much, actually.
I'm amazed we're always talking about, or we've been talking about letting go and just trusting and all that. And I think coming into this spiritual experience, I've been really shocked at how much, to use a different word, faith is required. Because we're talking about letting go and trusting. I mean, that's really what faith is just trusting that the universe has your back and that whatever needs to happen is going to work out for you. And so we're talking about control, and coming into this, the allure a little bit is that you have more control of your life. You have more information, you have more power, you have more control of the things that happen around you. And I've been a little bit surprised of how much faith it actually requires, and actually letting go of that control is more powerful than having the power to change it.
And I've been feeling actually that control is just an illusion anyway. And when I do try to control, it's just, I think I'm controlling it, but am I really? And to go back to the personal experience I was sharing earlier before we started recording, a personal situation of mine where I am trying to, revert back to like old habits and patterns of how I would handle a situation, but knowing what I know now about trust and that, I'm on this path and everything's meant to happen for a reason. And you talk about faith, Susan, you really do have to have faith. And I keep kind of trying to test it, like going back, like, are you sure? Are you sure? Are you sure? Like I'm asking for guidance and in all these different ways. And I keep getting the same message but I want the message repeated over and over. And until now, it's just like a big neon sign in my face. Like, yeah, this is what's supposed to be happening. Stop questioning it and just trust. And I don't know, I am finding comfort in that. Like, I don't know, I'm in this weird place where I have this old habit of wanting to like do things my old way because that was my comfort zone. But really that comfort zone wasn't all that comfortable. It would make me miserable. It would make me just not feel good. And so even though I'm stepping out of my comfort zone and letting go, that actually feels more comfortable.
But I know what you mean. Like it's almost the uncomfortable that's more comfortable the more you trust.
Yeah.
The uncomfortable becomes your safety spot the more we learn to trust.
Yes.
And that's like with this control thing, I knew it was something for me when I was, having emotions so strongly about it. And yeah, once you figure it out, like, hey, it's you, not them. And then it's just like, oh yeah, I've been through this before. Why didn't I see it sooner? Kick myself in the butt and move on.
And then next time when you have this control come up again, you'll see it quicker and you'll be able to react to it faster and trust even quicker,
Totally.
Absolutely.
And this may be a completely different topic, so we can go in a different way if we need to. But one of the things that I've also been struggling with is, where's the line between letting go and allowing things to happen and having boundaries and holding that line to say, no, this isn't okay. Where's the balance between those two?
I would say in terms of boundaries, that would just be a whole like gut instinct thing, like really going in and feeling with everything you have, what feels right. So in terms of boundaries, like I think that intuitively we know if someone's stepping over, or we're stepping over and just not allowing and letting go. Does that make sense? Like, I feel like when we let go and it feels right, then we know that's what's right.
Like that's the line.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, that makes sense.
I agree completely that there is a line, and it is that point of understanding, is it me, is it them, or is it, like you said, is it really a line? So definitely something with intuition and just kind of knowing the whole situation and all the details, looking at it from all vantage points for him.
Yeah, because you don't want to end up being a pushover or, someone that doesn't stand up for themselves or just let people walk all over them because, I'm just staying positive about everything, right? I've seen those people. So, just trying to discern at what point do you say, no, that's not okay with me. And that needs to change.
Well, absolutely. And I think that all of us have been in those work situations where it is definitely something that isn't right, that there is a true concern, but it's some of the patterns too. Like I had control in my past in patterns from past lives. And even in this lifetime, there's been situations where I was trying to quote control and I thought I'd worked through it. But then, like I said, when I sat down and just made the statement this weekend with my friend Michael, and it was just like, oh my gosh, there it is again. So definitely knowing your limits, exactly, or your boundaries. Well, ladies, this has been amazing. We digressed a little bit, but led on some new topics that we might have to have another podcast about in the future. But thanks for addressing this item about looking at other situations and people around us as a mirror of inside of us. So thanks for chatting.
Well, as you heard, this conversation took a few different directions, but the overall theme is around the power we have within to change our thoughts and beliefs. Hopefully, we help shed a little light for you. Maybe you can relate this to a recent experience of your own and can see now where shifting your focus, letting go, and trusting that all is working out for you will create a more desirable experience. Sometimes it's difficult to see things from this perspective, but the more we're aware of our inner thoughts and beliefs and how they're not serving us, the quicker we can shift where we're at to change what we experience. And I know what you may be thinking. Easier said than done, right? Well, some days are easier than others, but I can speak from personal experience that the longer you practice, the easier it gets. Having a tribe of like-minded friends to remind me when I may forget helps even more. We open these conversations up to you because we know the importance of surrounding ourselves with like-minded people. The whole your vibe is your tribe and your tribe is your vibe is so true, and we want to be that tribe for you. Be sure to like and subscribe wherever you're listening, share with anyone you feel may benefit from our conversations, and leave a comment and let us know what you think so far about what we share and any topics you're interested in that we haven't covered yet. Next week, we're back at the table to talk more about the reality we create through our thoughts as it relates to our beliefs around divine timing and how we place power outside of ourselves when the power is truly within. So be sure to tune in for that conversation. Until then, have a really great week.